In today's session, we're going to continue on the process of implementation of achieving breakthrough improvement and using our methodology of using theory constraints in combination with lean methods, in combination with Six Sigma methods to get significant breakthrough improvement in a short period of time. So at this point in the process, we know what the system constraint is. We decide how we're going to exploit the constraint. We looked at subordinating to the constraint. Now the next step is to elevate the constraint. So we're going to focus on what are the actions to elevate the constraint. So first of all, we want to look at where is the constraint, and remember our chain analogy. It's the resource with the least amount of capacity in our system, and it could be internal or external to the organization. So to elevate the constraint, what it means is we're going to increase the capacity of that limiting factor. And if we increase the capacity, it's going to improve the throughput of the entire organization. So the actions can be different depending on whether that constraint is internal or external to the organization. So internals, a resource, a machine. Um, External can be a supplier or market demand itself. So we need to understand, is it internal or external, because the actions to elevate are totally different depending on where the constraint is. So let's focus on the internal constraint first. So the first thing we want to do is look at the constraint and say, can we make process improvements? So can we take actions to reduce the workload or make the constraint more effective? So my three-step process there is eliminate. So can we eliminate the activities that that resource is doing? Can we integrate? Can we integrate those steps with another resource upstream? Or can we simplify the activities that resource is doing? So those are the three things we want to look at for process improvement. Next is invest in resource. So if we can't do any more process improvements, now it's time to invest and buy new capacity or more capacity. So hiring additional staff, investing in new technologies, buying new equipment or machines to help increase the capacity of the constraint. Also, can we offload or redesign the process? So can we offload the work to another resource or redesign the process to make that process more effective? And then last, outsourcing. Can we outsource that work to another business that'll help us increase our capacity in the short term before we can invest in resources and bring those new resources in-house? So those are the internal constraints. Now, if we look at the external constraints, if it's a supplier, can we look at alternative suppliers? So even if the cost is more, we'll go through what's the calculation to determine that. Or can we use other materials or alternative materials instead of the materials that we're using and materials that are more available in the market? Create a compelling market offer. So can we focus on what provides value for our customers and make that unrefusable market offer to them? Expand the market. So redefine the market to include other sales channels. Or acquisition. Can we purchase an organization that already has a market presence or that would enhance or expand our existing market? So those are techniques, not all the techniques, but the ones that are most common. So when looking at evaluating the impact of these different activities within the organization, we want to look at the three global measures. So the three global measures in the organization are, what's the change in throughput, what's the change in operating expense, what's the change in investment. So the first we can look at of each of these initiatives that we're going to take, what's the impact on net profit? So to calculate net profit, we're going to take the change in throughput minus the change in operating expense. And again, expense might go up, but if throughput's going up at a faster rate than expense, then do the activity. So it's as long as net profit impact is a positive number, take the action. The other thing we can look at is return on investment. So if we look at a return on investment, we're going to take that net profit impact, change in throughput over change in expense, and divide that by the change in investment. So that's the investment to buy a new machine or even reduce inventory significantly, could be part of our impact on investment. So those are the techniques we want to look at to measure the effect of our elevating the constraint. And as long as those numbers are positive, or our return on investment is within our tolerance time of what type of return we want to get, take the action. So that's our session for today. Thanks for joining. Next week, we'll talk about what happens if the constraint's broken and what actions we need to take to re identify the constraint.